You want to spending more money to sue him and not get no money back.
1,000,000%, you know, and I sued him for years and ended up winning. But I sued him because the IRS came after me, you know what I'm saying? And they were like, you haven't paid your taxes all the time. I'm like, well, that's what he was supposed to be doing. And he went and ran it. Don't y'all see? Like, I ain't got the money. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but.
And Uncle Sam don't care.
They don't care.
At all. They want their money, you know? So I got my settlement and it's on that person now. But as far as like me getting that money back, and I knew it as soon as it happened, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't never gonna see that money. You know, I might as well just get back and start from scratch and just, you know, forget about it. If it comes back, great. But, you know, it has yet to. But I've been blessed in so many other ways. Like, I take those life lessons and just learn from them.
Man, me and my boys can take you anytime, anywhere. I don't see no boys. I got them waiting.
It looks like we have a robbery in progress. Stand aside now.
Who are you?
I'm Super Dude, the teenage superhero.
Looky here, snacky pants. My name is Lester Oaks Construction Worker. You done already gave me my order about 10 minutes ago.
Who are you?
Who is it? Hey, his name is Kiki. Kiki, how do you feel?
I feel like going to the hospital.
What are you even doing up?
I thought we had a break-in.
What were you gonna do? Give him the funk?
I was gonna hit him in the face, then say, "Sax to be you."
That actually would have been dope.
Then join in the fight that would give us the right to be free. Do you hear the lobster scream?
Let's shake the table with co-star Cal.
It was more of a separation that kind of grew into, you know, just the journeys of being adults, and then, you know, time passes and more time passes and it just became ridiculous.
He might have you hollering on screen.
When you gonna break old Charlie off a piece of that too? And then I shook my head, did a little dance.
But baby, his real-life tea is piping hot. Behind those legendary sketches and characters is a whirlwind of drama, messy money moves, and receipts that'll make you give Hollywood the side eye. From childhood dreams to
I'll buy some more. Man, my little brother can score on these guys.
ducking career mess and dodging shady backstabbers, Kenan's climb to comedy royalty was no smooth ride. Let's dish on how he leveled up from a Nickelodeon darling
Mom, Dad, this is Ishbu. Ishbu, meet my mom and dad.
Hello, Ishbu. It's nice to meet you.
to the channel's longest-running star.
I'm flushing my career down the toilet.
Well, now you don't have to. With the Bathroom Businessman.
And honey, all the chaos that came with it. Buckle up as we dive into the juiciest chapter of Kenan Thompson's early grind. The scandal that left him shaking and scrambling. The accountant drama that nearly wiped him out. Now picture this. You're in your 20s, fresh off the fame of All That and
Super Dude!
That's right. I'm Super Dude.
Kenan and Kel.
This is my very best friend, Kale. What's up, Black?
On the easy street, living the dream, fame, money, the whole world in your lap. And your mama, just trying to have your back, says, let's let this accountant handle things. He's even helping her clean up her tax drama. So of course, he seems legit, right? Wrong. Sis, big mistake. This man was pure chaos in a suit. By the late 90s, Kenan's financial world was in shambles. That trusted accountant? Oh, he had full power of attorney over Kenan's money.
Back to this 1.5 million. How do you lose 1.5 million dollars? Because I know you said it, but I know people are listening like, how does that happen?
We gave that dude power of attorney when we shouldn't have. You know
Y'all
what
were
I mean?
kids.
Yeah, I was a kid and my mom was trying to protect me, you know what I mean? And he had helped her out of her like tax situations, like her and my dad's like tax situations. So she thought she could trust him, but she could trust him with like they 30 to 50 grand issues kind of But like when it's like $1 million on the table, you never know what people gonna turn into. And apparently he turned into a demon. And you know, I'm sure his karma has come back to him.
All that and Kenan and Kel coins, poof, gone.
How much did the accountant get you for?
$1.5 million.
Damn.
Something like that. I mean, that was, you know, my contractual like deal at the time or whatever. But
For Good Burger?
for like overall Nickelodeon existence,
yeah.
for a few years or whatever. And then, yeah, I never saw none of it.
Because this shady accountant was too busy fattening his own pockets to do the job he was hired for.
You want to spending more money to sue him and not get no money back.
1,000,000%, you know, and I sued him for years and ended up winning. But I sued him because the IRS came after me, you know what I'm saying? And they were like, you haven't paid your taxes all the time. I'm like, well, that's what he was supposed to be doing. And he went and ran it. Don't y'all see? Like, I ain't got the money. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but.
And Uncle Sam don't care.
They don't care.
At all. They want their money, you know? So I got my settlement and it's on that person now.
Kenan did what anyone with common sense would do. He dragged that dude to court. And yeah, he won the case. But guess what? The accountant was broke as a joke by then.
You couldn't sue the accountant or nothing?
I did, and I won, you know what I mean? But he can't pay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, it's just paperwork, basically.
You want to spend more money to sue him and not get no money back.
1,000,000%.
After all that mess, Kenan didn't see a single dime of his hard-earned coins. Can you believe that? All those long hours, cracking folks up on screen, giving fans the time of their lives. And for what? Nada. Kenan had to start from square one, going from TV royalty to grinding, just to keep a roof over his head. Phew, talk about a harsh reality check.
But as far as like me getting that money back, and I knew it as soon as it happened, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't never gonna see that money. You know, I might as well just get back and start from scratch and just, you know, forget about it. If it comes back, great, but, you know, it has yet to. But I've been blessed in so many other ways, like, I take those life lessons and just learn from them.
Did Kenan let that mess break him? Child, absolutely not. He picked himself up, shook off the disappointment, and got straight to rebuilding his career. But trust, it wasn't a smooth ride. Hollywood had him boxed in as just that goofy kid from Nickelodeon.
As long as you see me and my boy behind this counter, you talking to the man in charge.
But Kenan wasn't having it. Oh no. He was determined to show the world he was more than the class clown on TV. And baby, he delivered. Before we dig into all the drama with Kel, let's rewind to where Kenan's story really began. Born on May 10th, 1978 in Columbus, Ohio, Kenan wasn't even walking yet when his family packed up and moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And that's where destiny kicked in. His mama, Elizabeth Ann Thompson, wasn't playing. She saw greatness in her boy early and signed him up for acting classes at just 5 years old. Yup, 5. By high school at Tri-Cities, a performing arts magnet, Kenan was already turning heads. His big break came in 1994, snagging the role of Russ Tyler in D2, The Mighty Ducks.
He dished you bad, G. Man, come here, man.
That was just the beginning, honey. By the mid-90s, Kenan was a full-fledged Nickelodeon sensation, breaking hearts and snatching wigs with his unforgettable characters on All That. We're talking about Pierre Escargot.
Really? You think the script is funny?
You make it funny, so do good.
Super Dude, and who could forget that crazy Principal Pimple?
This is an outrage! I'm living in a miscarriage of justice, and give me that clipper. I don't need this. You think you're French?
If you grew up on Nickelodeon, you already know Kenan was that guy. He was everywhere, stealing the show, and let's keep it 100. He had us in stitches. But what we didn't know back then was that this kid from Atlanta was just getting started, and the roller coaster ride was about to go way off the rails. And then came Kenan and Kel. Now that duo, straight up iconic in the 90s. These two were inseparable, popping up everywhere from Good Burger to
Here, snacky pants. My name is Lester Oaks Construction Worker. You done already gave me my order about 10 minutes.
And let's not forget that Kenan and Kel magic. Fans couldn't stop yelling, "Who loves orange soda?" Their chemistry on screen was everything. For a minute there, it felt like they were the ultimate package deal, no separating them. But honey, reality had other plans. When the cameras stopped rolling after 4 seasons, things started shifting. As they both stepped into adulthood, it became crystal clear. Being a duo had made them famous, but it was also holding them back. They'd been Kenan and Kel for so long, people couldn't picture them as anything else. And let's keep it real. Kenan wasn't about to let himself be trapped in that kiddie actor box forever. He had bigger dreams. He wanted to be known as a serious adult actor.
We didn't want to be like 30 years old still trying to play a kid on Nickelodeon.
Kenan was on a mission to level up, to snag roles in Hollywood that went beyond Nickelodeon's slapstick comedy. Meanwhile, Kel was craving his own moment in the spotlight, wanting to step out of Kenan's shadow and chase his own dreams. So, they made the tough call to part ways. But let's be clear, this wasn't any messy fallout. It was about growth, evolution, and honestly, just needing some breathing room.
It was more of a separation that kind of grew into, you know, the traditional terms of what a falling out is, which is like not a lot of communication. Yeah. Originally, it was just us, you know, kind of looking for our own individualism, basically, as adults, and kind of just taking a breather from being a duo, because we both came into the game as, you know, individuals, and, you know, we were placed together because we worked so well together and all that. Yeah, it was just the journeys of being adults, and then, you know, time passes and more time passed and it just became ridiculous.
But breaking free wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Kenan had to keep grinding, but he did just that, landing roles in movies like Barbershop 2.
Hey, come on, Jimmy, man, just 2 seconds, bro. It won't take long. I promise we're done. Wait.
And then, boom, Kenan became the longest-running cast member in Saturday Night Live history. Like, straight-up history.
Oh, and don't worry about the creaking, Dad. We're not hearing it in here.
Well, the boy should be creaking. I mean, you don't never have 2 people out on this thing. Never!
Now Kel, his path wasn't so easy. His career started to hit some bumps, and let's just say the spotlight wasn't shining as brightly on him during those years. And honey, the gossip? Delicious. Fans were in a frenzy trying to figure out what went wrong. Was there some hidden beef? Were they secretly jealous of each other's shine? The silence between them just fueled the fire, and the fact that we didn't see them together for years. Oh, people's imaginations ran wild. Were they secretly feuding? Did they even like each other anymore? Those questions lingered unanswered for so long, it almost felt like something big was going on. But like they say, time heals all wounds. Over the years, Kenan and Kel finally reconnected, and in 2023, they made all our dreams come true by reuniting to film Good Burger 2, a long-awaited sequel to their cult classic.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Seeing Kenan and Kel back on screen together, it was like stepping into a 90s time machine, bringing all that magic back and reminding fans of the chemistry that made them pop culture legends in the first place.
Sorry, the new adventures of Adam's X starts now!
Their journey from childhood besties to estranged colleagues and back again? Baby, that was a whole roller coaster, filled with ambition, fame, and the kind of forgiveness that only time can bring. Their paths may have split for a minute, but their reunion showed us that the bond they built during their Nickelodeon days was tough enough to survive all the twists and turns Hollywood throws at you. Fans went wild seeing them back together, proving that some partnerships are just timeless.
Okay, it's almost in.
Now, Kenan's road to adulthood wasn't exactly the glitzy Hollywood fairy tale.
And so then I went into being an adult actor for hire, and that is very hit and miss. So there was, some good jobs, like I did Felicity, that was cool. And I got to meet J.J. Abrams when he was young, you know what I'm saying? And that's like a priceless kind of a friendship, I would say, just because he's grown to be, such a major force in the industry. But it was like 6 months until Love Don't Cost a Thing. You know what I mean? I was happy to get Love Don't Cost a Thing. It was my brother Nick's movie.
Nick Cannon.
We had
Christina
the rap party
Malone.
at my house. You know what I'm saying?
The money was tight, and so were the opportunities. Kenan had to grind like nobody's business just to keep the lights on, navigating the cold, harsh reality of being a former child star trying to stay relevant. But then came Saturday Night Live. This was the game changer Kenan had been waiting for.
I can't believe you ordered all that.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm starving. I feel like I haven't eaten a decent meal in years.
Don't let the glitz fool you, honey. It wasn't all about red carpets and popping bottles. Kenan was more of a behind-the-scenes kind of guy. He thrived in scripted settings where he could play off others. He wasn't the type to be up there on stage, trying to get a laugh from a live crowd with a quick 5-minute set.
Left there and went to audition for SNL.
Do you remember that when you auditioned and they called you back and said you got the part? Do you remember that?
1,000,000%, because it was a long process. You know what I'm saying? Came to New York, straight from Chicago, from shooting barbershop, feeling great or whatever, and then seeing what you up against. And it was every black comic you could even possibly think of, right? So I had to do stand-up at the Stand-Up New York. I had never done stand-up before. It was a nightmare.
Now, let me tell you about that audition at Stand Up New York. It was a hot mess. Kenan was shook, nervous as all get out. And baby, the crowd, they weren't having any of it. He couldn't find his flow, couldn't connect with anyone, and you could practically see the sweat dripping as he fumbled through his material like it was a bag of hot potatoes.
I did 3 minutes of something terrible because I wasn't a stand-up comic. I didn't know how to address the crowd at all. I think I just started with.
So that was part of the audition. You had to do stand-up.
Yeah.
So you walked out there and was like, hi.
I don't think I said hi. I think I just went right into Al Sharpton or something, talking to Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I mean?
What?
Just like a kid in his.
But hold up, there's more tea to spill. His old comedy partner was there too. And guess what? They were both gunning for the same spot. Talk about major awkward vibes. They tried to keep it cute, exchanging pleasantries, but baby, the tension in the air, you could cut it with a butter knife.
And then I saw Kel and I hadn't seen him in a while, you know what I'm saying? At the audition. And that was awkward. But it was good luck or whatever.
So, was it a friendly reunion or a straight-up battle for the throne? Kenan knew he didn't quite hit it out the park, but somehow the SNL producers saw something in him. They called him back for a studio audition, and honey, that was his moment. Stepping into that studio felt like he'd finally come home. The cameras, the lights, the energy, it all just clicked.
And yeah, it didn't go well, but they saw something and I got a call back that was in the studio. That felt more comfortable. I was used to that, you know what I mean? So I did that same kind of shtick with a couple more minutes added on or whatever. And then I went home for a week and didn't hear nothing, you know what I mean? And that was just torture.
You thought it was a wrap?
I thought it was over. I thought I ruined it. And, SNL is one of those jobs, if you don't get it, you live with that, kind of for the rest of your life. Or if things go left when you do get it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not an experience you really just forget or like be like, oh, that's in the past, I can just move on. Like, it stays with you.
But SNL? Oh, they weren't finished with him just yet.
So yeah, that week was torture, and then they called and they were like, all right, we want you to try one more time at the Laugh Factory. I was like, more stand-up, you know what I mean?
Why didn't you just tell him I'm not a stand-up?
I didn't want to rock the boat, you know what I mean?
You don't tell them no when you're trying to get a job. I ain't doing
but
that.
stand-up is, man, stand-up is the most difficult thing I feel like anybody can do in comedy.
It really is. And I also wasn't really aware of the Second City and groundlings of it all because I'm not an improver. I just like started working, you know, from like age 12, you know, from doing commercials to theater to, you know, movies or whatever. So I didn't really have a chance to like go to school for performing necessarily. Like that was my school. So yeah, more stand-up, and I, you know, didn't want to rock the boat.
Now they threw Kenan, the sketch guy, straight into the deep end, no floaties. And of course, he went last, so the nerves, oh, they were real. Out of his element, sweating like he just ran a marathon, and surrounded by seasoned pros. But you know what? Kenan pulled it together, kept it moving, and made it through that set, even if it wasn't his finest hour.
It was a terrible night for me because the other 4 people were actually stand-ups, you know what I mean? And they were killing. JB Smoove, Finesse Mitchell, you know what I mean, D-Ray.
Oh,
like,
man.
It was, you know, it was a lineup, and they was destroying. And then I went up there and did my little and like.
Where were you? Were you first? Were you fourth? Were you second?
I was last.
Oh.
Yeah.
You went after D-Ray, JB, and Finesse Mitchell?
Jesus Christ.
Yep. And Kyle Grooms. And like
Kyle Grooms too?
Yeah. I think Kyle, but I know Kyle was in New York, but I think he was in LA too. But I know I went last after a bunch of brilliant comics, and I was so nervous, man. I was drinking out the sink because that was the bathroom, and like the bar was over there, so I didn't want to like go back and forth, you know what I mean, like interrupt or anything like that.
So you really wanted to kill it, but you couldn't get to it.
You know, but I was so nervous, like I was just like, man, I can't quench my thirst. I'm drinking water.
New York water back then was, I'm sure
I'm like filling it up with the sink water and like still, and I was just like crazy nervous. But then after that, they called the next day, and then I think they called on a Saturday, and I was in New York on Monday.
He made it to SNL, y'all. At the time, he was the first cast member born after the show hit the airwaves in '75. Big deal, right? But let's not sugarcoat it. His journey to finding his stride wasn't all smooth sailing. At first, Kenan was still trying to figure out how to pitch his ideas, vibe with the writers, and, most importantly, find his own rhythm. But then, in his 5th season, boom! He dropped a scary straight sketch, and that was the turning point.
Beat up a kid because he's poor. Boy, shut your damn mouth!
And just like that, Kenan found his rhythm. From that moment on, baby, there was no looking back.
And now you're the longest running cast member.
He didn't just survive the grind, he thrived. That awkward kid from Nickelodeon, he went from scraping by to locking down the longest running gig in comedy history.
You know what I mean? Like just money enough for the rent kind of thing.
Talk about a glow up. From fumbling through auditions to becoming an SNL legend, Kenan Thompson's journey was a full-on comeback story. Yeah, he struggled at first. SNL didn't feel like home until his 5th season, when that scared straight sketch finally clicked with both the writers and the audience. The rest? History, baby.
Guys, when did you get comfortable in Saturday Night Live? Because you had to be nervous, you know, when you first starting off, you with all these people that's been there before, and when did you get comfortable?
It took a while because you have a writer's burden on SNL, and I didn't come from that. You know, I just came from being given scripts, and then I do what I do, and like if we ad-lib something, then they'll put it in or whatever. But I was never like part of that process, so it was like a learning thing as I went along. And I don't think I was like comfortable until I got my first personal idea on the show, and that was like season 5.
Wow.
Yeah, Scared Straight. Shout out to Scared Straight.
Why that role in particular?
What, Scared Straight?
Yeah, like why did that make you the most comfortable?
Well, that was just the first one that I got on, and I was like, oh, I finally like made my sense of humor make sense in this place.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Oh, and let's not forget that mess from 2013. Remember when Kenan got asked about the lack of black women on SNL? His comment, that they just never find ones that are ready, sent shockwaves through the community. People were hot, thinking it was a shot at black women. But Kenan came out swinging, saying he was misquoted. What he really meant was that the pool of candidates was small, not that black women lacked talent. He's still salty about how that whole thing was twisted, especially since he's always shouted out the strong black women in his life for helping shape him into who he is today.
But yeah, that was part of the conversation that I was talking about when it was time to get more black women in the show. You know, it's just like my quote that was heavily misquoted or whatever was just the fact that, you know, the pool to choose from isn't large, basically, as far as the people that are ready to do that show. Like it's not. I personally didn't know about the Groundlings in Second City. You know what I'm saying? So let alone, you know, a whole bunch of us knowing about it. The quote that they say I said was that, you know, black women ain't funny, but that's not what I said. It was like,
that's better though. That's a good one. That one goes viral.
You know, when you meet me, you know I'm not outside the culture like that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't disrespect my black women at all. You know, like, because like, how would my mother look at me? How would my sister look at me? My cousins, my this, that, and my that. I'm not.
Now, let's get into Kenan's personal life. He married model Christina Evangeline in 2011, and they have 2 beautiful daughters. But don't think for a second that this love story was all roses. They called it quits in 2021 after a decade together. Kenan's career may be sky high, but let's not act like there weren't some bumps along the way, from Fat Albert to everything else. The highs? Undeniable, but the drama? Oh, it's there too.
I never thought about it. We just entered.
And let's not forget Kenan's journey from the small screen to the big stage, baby. He's been on a plane to success.
Man, the poison. Man, okay, I'll do it. What? Oh, there'll be no And Troy, get this man away from my ass. Are you sure? Yeah, we should.
From his Emmy-winning work on SNL to proving time and time again that he's got range, Kenan has shown he's not just a one-trick pony. In 2021, he even got his own sitcom, Kenan, where he stepped into the spotlight as the lead.
You want to be a serious news guy now? Just remember the 3 Ds. Denies, deflect, name, Dwayne, defrost. Now that's chicken. Yeah, you're right. Shut the.
Now, the show didn't exactly stick around long. It only lasted 2 seasons, but the man was still shining. In 2022, he earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, an honor that was long overdue for someone who's been grinding since he was a kid. And while comedy and acting keep him busy, Kenan's also dabbled in writing, dropping a book titled When I Was Your Age. You better believe he's putting all his talent to good use.
You know, you got a new book out, When I Was Your Age.
I should have brought the book.
I wanted to hit just to have it propped up.
I'm slipping, my bad.
When I Was Your Age, life lessons, funny stories, and questionable parenting advice from a professional clown.
Yeah.
First of all, what made you want to write a book? Because you always have been a very private person.
Yeah, it's the longest title ever.
Now, in his book, Kenan opens up about all the highs and lows, including a chapter titled I'm Glad I Went Bro, where he gets real about that accountant disaster. Oh yeah, he didn't hold back.
Yeah.
You got a chapter titled called I'm Glad I Went Broke.
Mm-hmm.
When did that happen? You've been working since at least 94.
Yeah. Like, I've been blessed to continue working, but yeah, I had a bad accountant, and it came to the light around 99, like around 2000, which was really bad timing because that's right when I left my consistent gig, you know what I'm saying? So then I went into...
Kenan Thompson is sitting pretty with an estimated net worth of $13 million. And let's be clear, he'll always be remembered as the longest-running cast member on SNL, a title that's still firmly his. He's living, breathing proof that no matter how much betrayal, reinvention, or messiness you go through, you can always bounce back and turn it into something legendary.